all the DAs do.
Good evening. I'd like to call tonight's meeting of the Board of Directors to order. Will you do me a favor and please rise for the pledge? Tacoma Public Schools acknowledges that we are on the traditional, ancestral, and historical lands of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup Tribe. This acknowledgement serves as a first step in honoring our nearest tribal neighbors and partners who have inhabited this region since time immemorial, and to whom we give thanks for allowing us passage to their lands. We shall intentionally create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities. General Counsel Benroe, would you please call the roll?
President Strozier,
I'm here.
Vice President McElroy,
Here.
Director Brumbright,
Here.
Director Keating.
Here.
We have a quorum, and welcome also Joshua Barber, Student Board Rep.
Welcome. Thank you all for being here this evening. Let's go ahead and jump to agenda item number 2, recognition of staff,
I move
students.
to adopt the agenda. I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, I don't hear any. It passes. Now, we are going to recognize staff, students, and community. Agenda item 2A, recognition of the Shining Star Community Partner Award to the UW Tacoma YMCA.
Claps already. You can give them a hand. Good evening, President Strozier, Board of Directors, Superintendent Garcia, and our beloved community. My name is Amanda Scott Thomas. I am the Director of the Community Partnership Office, and it is my pleasure to talk about this month's recognition of a community partner through the Shining Star Award. As you know, Tacoma Public School defines partnership as a cooperative relationship between students, families, schools, and the district, along with the greater community here in Tacoma. We know that our partners are committed to supporting student academic success and success of the whole child. Partners work with and invest in the education of our children and youth, whose future in turn will affect the quality of life in the entire Tacoma community, one city. When it comes to student success, TPS recognizes that students cannot do it alone, and in recognition of an investment of time, talent, and resources for Tacoma Public School students, families, and staff, the Shining Star Community Partner Award signifies honor and thanks to a community partner who has made a difference by doing what is best for kids. So for this month, October, we have for you the UW YMCA. The UW YMCA serves as a vital hub for wellness, education, and community connection in downtown Tacoma. Located in the heart of the city, the YMCA provides opportunities for students, staff, and community members to engage in programs that promote health, leadership, and belonging. For years, Tacoma School of the Arts has partnered with the UW YMCA, utilizing its facilities for classes, mentor groups, and student services, while also working together to host community nights and programs that strengthen ties between youth and the larger Tacoma community. The YMCA is widely recognized in Tacoma for its role in expanding access to fitness, health education, and community building activities. Students at SOTA, whose extracurricular opportunities are often centered on the arts rather than athletics, benefit greatly from access to the YMCA's facilities and resources, developing lifelong skills in wellness, balance, and healthy living. Under the leadership of Cassidy Inamasu, the YMCA has embraced every opportunity to support students and staff, always approaching collaboration with a spirit of, yes, let's do it, or let's try to see how this benefits students. This approach has led to years of successful events, shared programming, and meaningful connections that extend far beyond school hours. The UW YMCA has been a steadfast and generous partner to Tacoma School of the Arts and TPS. Cassidy's leadership, in particular, has amplified the impact of this partnership, ensuring that students have equitable access to fitness and wellness opportunities that they may not otherwise experience in a downtown arts high school. By consistently opening its doors, offering its expertise, and supporting student growth, the YMCA has created a healthier, stronger, and more connected community. It's for this reason we proudly recognize the UW YMCA and Cassidy as a star partner with the community, as a shining star partner with Tacoma Public Schools, honoring their outstanding commitment to supporting students, staff, and the greater Tacoma community. And they are here to receive their award. Can we give them another hand? And Cassidy, come on up.
Thank you, Ms. Scott Thomas, Superintendent and Board. Really appreciate this, seeing a full house here as well. I just want to say thank you. It really is a privilege to be able to be a part of the Tacoma community as a YMCA, even more broadly than just the UW Tacoma campus. So obviously our priority focus is with the university students. That's our partnership. That's who we serve. But collectively, UW and the YMCA recognize that there's so many opportunities for students to be able to be a part of community, even broader, and look at higher education, look at YMCA health and wellness all kind of collectively and call the space their own. So I'm really excited about this year because we started asking ourselves with the administrators and teachers, what would it look like? And what if we did this? And could this happen? And actually the students are the ones kind of stepping up. So I think we're gonna have a couple movie nights this year and everything, so come on by. I think anyway, I won't say which movies yet. But anyway, I just wanna say it's really an honor and a privilege to be there, be present, and be a space that they can also kind of look at as an extension of campus. So thank you again and I appreciate this.
Come on, staff. Come on, white staff.
You're so young, but you're tall. Yeah.
Thank you for all you do on behalf of our students. Thank you so much, guys. It's awesome. Thank you for everything you guys do. Yeah, come on, Trent, come get.
I also want to acknowledge the UW YMCA. They've been doing great partnerships with lots of parents as well. They have a child watch center, and I've heard from some of our preschool and kindergarten families that attend, I believe it's Edna Travis and the Bezos Academy. They utilize that facility on a regular basis, and they really appreciate the child watch opportunities there too. So you're serving more than college students, more than high school students. You're serving Tacoma, so I appreciate all the work you do.
Appreciate it. Any other comments? All right, thank y'all. Moving forward. 2B, recognition of the Purchasing Department receiving the 2025 Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award.
Yes, thank you. I am proud to be here this evening and talk to you a little bit about our purchasing department. In 1995, the National Procurement Institute, or NPI, established a program designed to recognize organizational excellence in public procurement. The Achievement of Excellence in Procurement is awarded annually. The prestigious award is earned by those organizations that demonstrate excellence by obtaining a high score based on some standardized criteria that relate to measuring innovation, professionalism, productivity, e-procurement, and leadership attributes of the procurement organization. The Tacoma School District Purchasing Department is one of 17 school districts and one of 171 agencies in the United States and Canada to receive this award. This is the 16th consecutive. It's a national member-based nonprofit organization that provides this award to us, and they have 3,000 member agencies representing 15,000 procurement professionals across the United States and Canada. This is not a small feat. With this being our 16th year, I would like to recognize Cherie Estrada and have her introduce her team to you and provide her with this beautiful award. Please come up. Please come up.
Gotta be running out of space at this point.
Good evening. I will first introduce my team. So this is Lori Adams, Shelby Hayward, and Deborah Folsom. Today, we're celebrating truly something special. Our department's 16th consecutive year achieving the Excellence in Procurement Award. That's not just a streak of success. It's a reflection of consistency, integrity, and unwavering commitment to do things the right way. Each year brings new challenges, every time the team rises to meet them. We don't shy away from change, we embrace it. We use challenges as opportunities to grow, to refine our processes, and to think even more strategically about how we serve our schools, our students, and our community. Earning this award year after year isn't easy. It takes focus, teamwork, and the willingness to change ourselves individually and collectively. We continue to learn, adapt, and push for improvement because we care deeply about what we do and who we do it for. The recognition shows that we value students and taxpayers by being smart and responsible with the public funds. Every decision we make reflects our shared belief that excellence is not a destination, it's a daily practice. We love our work, and it shows in our collaboration, our problem solving, and our shared purpose. Each one of you contributes to our success, and together we build a department that looks like a model of professionalism and integrity. On a side note, one of the best things this year is out of 200 points, we applied for 155, and for the first year ever, we got all 155. So that is my team and their effort of putting it together and ensuring that we are doing everything to the best practice. So thank you.
One more.
Everybody say 16 on 3. National Principals Month. Dr. Garcia is joining us at the podium. This is different.
I'm excited. I think we have a little slide deck, and then I have some guests. Some guests. Do you guys want to stand? You guys tired? Bliss. Yeah. I am honored to stand in front of you tonight. I wrote a few words celebrating our Tacoma Principals Whole Child Champions. Today and all month, we celebrate our incredible Tacoma Principals, true whole child champions. And then I'm going to speak to you folks, if you don't mind. Each of you and your colleagues leads with vision, compassion, and unwavering commitment to our students. Through your leadership, our schools are places where every child is known, valued, and supported to reach their full potential. Your dedication to the whole child academically, socially, and emotionally shines in every classroom, every conversation, and every decision you make. You inspire staff, empower families, and you help students believe in themselves and in their future. Thank you for your exceptional service and steadfast commitment to our mission. You embody what it means to lead with purpose and heart. Tacoma Public Schools is stronger because of you. I found a quote that reminds me of you. It's by Eleanor Roosevelt. You gain strength and courage and confidence by every experience in which you stop and look fear in the face. The danger lies in refusing to face the fear, in not daring to come to grips with it. If you fail anywhere along the line, it will take away your confidence. You must make yourself succeed every time. You must do the thing you think you cannot do every day. Eleanor Roosevelt. Not only is Tacoma Public Schools better because of you, Tacoma is stronger because of you. Together, we are one city because of you. I am honored to serve with you, and I am so grateful for each and all of you. Happy October National Principals Month. And I have some amazing pictures that we will click through. If we could scroll right up there, I want to highlight some of our amazing colleagues. Dr. Stout just kicking back, Miss Joni Hall, Lauren from Washington Elementary, Mr. King leading it on. This is the Silas team, and I don't know who that guest principal in the purple hair is, but I don't think Mr. Stewart can ever leave Tacoma Public Schools as a principal. So, if I one last round of applause for all of our amazing Tacoma principals. I know that TPA leadership is here, but if you could all join the board, I know we'd love to have a picture with you folks up there. And then I know you guys are busy and would love to get out of here for tonight. They are dismissed from class after the picture. You guys look amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you both. Thank you.
This weekend.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep this thing going. Superintendent's report.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, I'd like the students to go first, and then I'd be happy to go right after them, if that's possible.
Perfect. Who wants to go first? All right, Josh, kick it off.
I don't have much to talk about because I didn't get to go to IDEA last Friday like I wanted to. I got sick. But I went on Wednesday to take the PSAT, and that went pretty well. The only part I struggled with was the math, which is, I mean, it's math. Math is hard.
Can
And
relate.
so if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. You know, math is hard. But I mean, that's mostly about it. I don't really have much for this one. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Oh, do I have to, can I pull it?
Pull it
Can you
towards
hear
you.
me good?
Yeah, no, pull it towards you.
Okay, wait.
There you go.
There you go.
Can y'all hear that squeaking?
Yep.
Great. Okay. I don't got much either. I think something that like they started enforcing more of the phone policy, and they did something new, which I thought I don't think the most positive thing about where they have it now, where it's like if you have your phone out twice and you get like called out twice, they have an admin come to your classroom and take it. And I honestly think it's very disruptive. And that's just like a concern that I had, or not a concern, but like something that I feel like stuck with me because it was like, it turned into like a conversation in every classroom. But other than that, I think it's good. I think the school morale is good. I think our school spirit is nice. That's all I got to say.
That's great. Thank you so much for that feedback, both of you guys. So, Board of Directors, Mr. President, I want to just highlight a few things. I had an opportunity to attend the first annual TED Fund Gala Friday, and I just want to thank all of the community members that came out and supported the TED Fund, which is the Tacoma Public Schools official partner as our foundation to support activities for students. Over 300 people came out on Friday night, and it was a wonderful turnout. And I just want to thank Ms. Sue Elkin, Jessica Cox, and Monica, who planned it, Ms. Lua Pritchard, and APCC, who hosted it. They just did a phenomenal job, all the staff. If you have not had a chance to book Miss Amanda Scott Thomas as your MC, I would tell you get in line. Absolutely amazing, phenomenal in that space, and all the staff that leaned in to help the communications department, CTE, athletics, just really felt good about our students and the successes they're going in that. I want to highlight and acknowledge Miss Roxanne Schwartz from Stadium High School was selected to be a recipient of the International Korean Education Youth Camp award winner. Only 5 are selected, and it's hosted by the Korean Education Ministry, where Roxanne is able to actually travel here in November to Korea, all expenses paid, and so really quite an accomplishment. And Miss Sunny Cho, the educator that is the sponsor from Stadium High School, just did an amazing job. So congratulations to the Stadium Tigers in that space. Choice enrollment is open. I know it seems early to be thinking about the future, but it's really important for us in our planning periods. We really try to honor the choice period. Information is on the main website. It's also on the school websites. As you know, that this has been a really tough last couple of years with enrollment. It's been important that we try to honor those. So if we know where people want to go in that space, we're able to then plan accordingly. And that's why it's really important that we try to get ahead of that as much as possible. And so if you're interested in that space at all, please check out those timelines. They're on the main website, like I said, in that. Had a great opportunity to spend some time with you folks. I want to congratulate the board on their town hall on Monday. I know you'll speak some time more about that, but I really just was very impressed with your guys' ability to reach out to community, have real conversations. I learned a lot. I know it'll drive some of our future work and our board goals, so really appreciated that. I want to thank all of our staff. We just hosted conferences. That's a lot of work, right? That's a lot of extra time. It's a lot of commitment to spending some time with individual families, individual teachers, individual students. A lot of work done by our teaching staff, our administrators, our counselors. A lot of other things happen during those weeks too. And so it's not lost on me the extra work that's put into that space. So thank you to all of you. The Healthy Youth Survey's out. Encouraging all folks to participate in the Healthy Youth Survey as much as possible. It gives us important information, and not only in the Tacoma Public Schools, but across the county and across the state. And so I just really encouraging folks to do that. The Power League, the new Parks Tacoma Power League is launched. And so you'll see more and hear more about that, but there's information on our website is specifically for middle school students. It's another opportunity to be engaged. So check out the Power League out there, and you'll see some more and more about that, but really exciting opportunities. And then finally, I just want to continue to remind folks, there are some resources out there that are available to you, and they're regularly on our website, but oftentimes at this time of year, it's good to have a reminder. One is there's free tutoring available. Okay, this is the 9-week mark in our semesters in that space. And so sometimes it's like the wake-up call, like, oh, I need some help. I need some support. There's free online tutoring available for TPS kids. And so really encouraging folks, students, to get the help that they need. There's nothing wrong with getting help, tutoring help in that space. That's what it's there for. And then there are a list of mental health supports available online. And I just encourage everyone, mental health is with all of us. Myself, my family, everyone can benefit from mental health supports. And I just encourage us folks, as the weather turns, we get less sunshine, we're into this work, it's the holidays, there's a variety of things. You can go on to mentalhealth.gov for some supports, sleep, water, exercise, but there's also additional resources and support that we all need. And if you're an employee, you can access the EPA system. There's nothing wrong with accessing supports that we as individuals need in this space. And I just want us to continue to feel comfortable talking about that as a community in that space, and we're going to keep on pushing those resources out. And so if our students need those resources, go grab them. They're there for you. They're there online. They're inside the system. There's oftentimes folks coming onto campuses, and if our staff need them, please access them. We'll support you. And that's my report tonight.
Appreciate it. Anything additional? Dr. Noah, you good? All right. We are going to move forward to the staff reports of the board. There is not one. Leaving us at the members of the public wishing to address the board. We have some blue cards.
Yes, we have 4 verbal comments this evening.
Okay, school board members encourage public participation. Your civil input is appreciated. Board members will not respond to your comments during the meeting. The superintendent or designee will follow up with you after the meeting if action is needed. Instead of speaking at a meeting, you may also send an email to the board at board@tacoma.k12.wa.us. Please contact the board office in advance of the meeting for disability accommodations. Public comment guidelines. Under Board Policy 1430, the board president may terminate an individual's comments when the allotted time has passed and may interrupt a speaker to require the same standard of civility that the board imposes on itself. Examples of uncivil comments include comments that are libelous or slanderous under a legal standard, are an unwarranted invasion of privacy, are obscene or indecent pursuant to the Federal Communications Act or any rule or regulation of the Federal Communications Commission, violate school district policy or procedure related to harassment, intimidation, bullying, or discrimination,
Inside.
an unlawful act on school premises or violate a lawful school regulation, or create a material and substantial disruption to the orderly operation of the board meeting. The board as a whole has the final decision in determining the appropriateness of all such rulings and can maintain order by removing those who are disruptive. However, the board recognizes the distinction between uncivil discourse, which it will not tolerate, and comments about the board, the district, and/or staff that are negative, yet still civil in nature. The board will exercise its authority to maintain order in a content-neutral manner. Option 1, which we'll witness tonight, is verbal comment. There are 4 cards. The general counsel will call your name when it's your turn to address the school board. Please speak into the microphone. You may have up to 3 minutes to share your comments, or if there are a large number of speakers, time may be limited at the president's discretion. Option number 2 is written comment, and we don't have any of those submitted this evening. We can go ahead with the first card, boss.
Yes, our first speaker this evening is Emily Wickman, followed by Dr. Kimberly Keith.
Oh, goodness.
Mark Crapo, everyone. I want to appreciate Mark Crapo. Good evening, Tacoma School Board. My name is Emily Wickman, and I am a choir and musical theater director at SOTA School of the Arts. We're here tonight to say thank you. We do things a little differently at SOTA, and we could not keep doing that without your support. There are incredible teams of educators at every single school in Tacoma offering a menu to our kids so that there is something for everyone, every single kid in our city. And that takes wisdom, courage, trust, and we know money to try so many different things in so many different places. Because you know that we could not possibly serve everyone if we did things exactly the same way everywhere. At SOTA, we run an alternate schedule, which allows students to take 8 classes per semester, plus mentor group and workshop. That's 16 extra classes over the course of high school. This allows us to offer a wide variety of elective opportunities, specifically arts programs that define the SOTA experience. It allows me, an elective teacher, to be a collaborator with my colleagues rather than a competitor. And most importantly, it allows these students to become more than one kind of artist, to be creative in multiple ways and in multiple disciplines. Let me offer some examples from these students who come from 10 different Tacoma middle schools. Kari and Valencia sing in the choir while they're also composing a song for a documentary film made by a professional, which they'll record with their audio recording class in a professional studio in Seattle. Joe, Dagan, and Kaori play in the orchestra. Ayana and Bree are going to the National High School Dance Festival. Abby and Mark are choreographing the spring musical, while half of these students are in the cast. All of this happens during school, while they're also taking museum studies and marine biology, yoga, YMCA, creative writing, and doing internships all over the city. Thank you for supporting our alternate schedule with these more classes. I know that there's a cost of innovation, and it is outweighed by the benefits. Our kids need us offering a lot of different ways to learn if we are going to endeavor to serve them all. Thank you for your time.
speaker this evening is Dr. Kimberly Keith, followed by Milani Summerfield.
Wow, I've got to follow that. Right on, soda.
Sorry about that.
Hello, school board and Mr. Benro, Superintendent Garcia. I'm here tonight to just be very thankful for your support. Hilltop Artists was started in 1994 by a group of educators who approached the district and asked if they could use a disused wood shop at then Jason Lee Middle School or junior high. And now, 31 years later, we're still around. And we're around because of our partnership with you. We are able to do this programming. We started with 20 kids in a drop-in setting in 1994. Now we work with 700 young people at Silas High School, Hilltop Heritage Middle School, and at SODA. We just recently did a summer program at SODA, and we're doing J-term, I think, for the 4th year at SODA. We're supporting the stained glass students at Stadium. And we are doing all things glass, and we are doing that because of your support. We would not be successful, we would not be sustainable if you didn't allow us to use your buildings and to support us with the classes that we're doing. And so I want to thank you for considering our most recent contract this evening. And I would certainly appreciate your support in passing that. Would be awesome. And I think that's all I need to say. I've been speaking since 8:30 this morning at 3 different events. And so I'm going to close it there. But I will say, if anybody hasn't seen Hilltop Artists at either Silas High School or Hilltop Heritage Middle School, I invite you to come and see our students making wonderful things. Thank you.
Our next speaker this evening is Milani Summerfield, followed by Megan Torgerson.
Good evening, public speaker. I am not, and I wish mine was as happy as all that. But at any rate, my name is Melanie Summerfield, and this is my 11th year teaching for Tacoma Public Schools. I am currently in my 2nd year at Roosevelt, and I'm here for 2 reasons. Number 1, to advocate for our school, and number 2, to advocate for the community it serves. Let me start out by saying that I've had the pleasure of teaching at several schools in Tacoma, and Roosevelt is just one of, I can honestly say it's just been one of the most joyous places. The staff is joyous, they are hardworking, they are dedicated, they are skilled, they are compassionate, and they work so hard every day. I'm gonna get emotional. Our little school is in crisis. We have a lot of social, emotional, and mental health needs that are running us ragged beyond what even this most skilled staff can sustain. We just recently lost a full-time music teacher, and that was just who had a relationship with the students. And that was one extra body that we had that could help with the MTSS process. We don't have very many resources to pull off of, and our classrooms are being, the teaching time is being impacted. There are students in almost every classroom that kind of hijack the learning. We don't have enough help to run the kind of small groups that we need. It just takes constant energy, and we are already feeling like we would feel in May. I've seen teachers crying, during the day, after work, and at staff meetings, and that's not typical for this staff. We are also very concerned about our SBAC scores. We have made some amazing gains over the last few years, but it was because we had a lot of extra support to make that happen. We don't have that support, and it's not sustainable. We're very aware that the budget is serious, and the money just isn't there for all of the staff that we need to make Roosevelt successful. But it doesn't mean just because you don't hear from us that we don't need help. And we have a growing community. That little area is one of the last affordable areas for young families in our city, and there's an uptick of home ownership. And these families want to be in the neighborhood, they care about the neighborhood, and they love their school. Thank you for your time and for listening. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Our last speaker this evening is Megan Torgerson.
Good evening, members of the board. My name's Megan. I'm the parent of a kindergartner at Roosevelt. I'm here to share what the loss of our music teacher has meant for our students and why it matters deeply to families like ours. Our daughter absolutely loves music class. She's bright and curious. And she's also pretty quiet about her school day, except on music days. On those days, she can't stop talking. She'll tell us about rhythms, clapping, snapping, stomping, and tapping. Just before the staffing change, she came home and said, "It was the best day ever. We had music." Music has been especially meaningful for her because it helped her overcome a delayed start to speech. It gave her confidence, expression, and connection. My husband is a professional musician, so in our home, we've seen firsthand how powerful music can be. And it's not just about sound or rhythm. It's about communication, joy, and belonging. That's why this change feels so disheartening. Roosevelt is Title I school serving primarily students of color and families in poverty. When high needs, high poverty school loses a full-time music teacher, it widens the gap of educational and racial inequity. And while we technically still have a music teacher, what we've lost is so much more than instructional minutes. We've lost a person our kids trusted and connected with. That consistent adult presence matters tremendously in a building like ours, where so many students are coping with social, emotional, and mental health challenges. Our teachers do incredible work, but we simply don't have enough adults to support our neediest and most vulnerable students. When one consistent, caring adult is removed, the ripple effects are felt throughout the entire school. There is also a practical concern. The state curriculum calls for 60 minutes of music instruction each week. With 13 classrooms, that's roughly 13 hours of direct student instruction, and that doesn't include planning time, breaks, transitions between classes. Once those are factored in, a 0.5 FTE simply can't meet the state requirements without cutting sessions, rotating weeks, or creating gaps. And that means students will lose access to consistent, predictable music instruction. Consistency matters immensely for young learners. At the start of the year, my daughter's class had their specialty class at the same time every afternoon, predictable and steady. Now it changes day to day, sometimes morning, sometimes afternoon. I'm not sure if you've ever spent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes public comment for this evening.
Okay, we'll move forward to the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second, and then, Mr. President, with an amendment that we remove the approval of the October 9th board meeting minutes due to a glitch in the technology. We weren't able to upload them for the public view, so if we could put that to next meeting. So I seconded with that amendment.
Okay, moved and seconded, amendment noted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda passes with that amendment. We are, next up, policy matters. First reading of revised policy 4040, public access to district records.
The district's general counsel, on behalf of the district's public records manager, recommends the board of directors review the draft of revised policy 4040, and provide feedback before a second reading. Just briefly, this is a change we've made to the district's public record request policy. We have a website where community members can go on to make this public record request. The changes you're mostly looking at in this policy are in response to a change in the law that happened last year, which allows districts to charge for processing a public records request, and updates the definitions to include more of the electronic type of requests that we get nowadays compared to the last policy, which was approved in 2011. And so this is a first reading, so not asking for a vote tonight, but just a review with any feedback for the next board meeting.
Got it. Appreciate it. Moving forward to the financial report.
Good evening.
Hey, Ross, welcome.
Yep, there it is. Thank you. Well, I wanted to provide you with some updates on some things going on in the world of finance. We did just summarize all of our October enrollment data. This is actually a head count. Looking at what we had projected based on our demographer. Demographer had suggested we would have 27,728 students, and our October 1 actual counts are considerably down to 27,012. So what that means for us financially is that we need to be very careful around how we make our next steps forward on our finances. We take these resources and we plug them into our enrollment counts from September, and then what we've seen over the last several years, and we come up with what is considered an annual average FTE. Annual average FTE is what our actual apportionment is based off of, and so this is a factor within that calculation. That calculation will show us starting off the year down, and so we'll need to be considerate of that as we progress through with any unplanned expenditures, and then trying to make sure that we are containing our expenses within the allocation that we put into the budget. We'll be bringing with the year-end close will come next month in November for 24-25, and once that's closed out, we start beginning the 25-26 forecasting for where we're at financially. So we've taken a look right now at our 24-25, and we're still tracking in the having a fund balance between $2 to $3 million, considerably lower than our 5% reserve requirement, which would be around $27 million. So we're positive. We're not in binding conditions based on that, but we're desperately close. And situations where we're losing significant enrollment could also put us into that position moving forward. So it's not a great way for us to start our financial year. However, we still have time and energy to watch what we're doing and make sure that we're sticking with the budget. And I'll remind you that we built our budget for our expenditures to be lower than our revenues so that we could try to gain some revenues back to put into our fund balance for the future. Did you want to add anything to that? No.
So this is as you can see on the bottom, the challenging piece is the numbers, obviously, of the variance. We still are responsible for our running start students, our preschool enrollment, right? Transitional K is not inside of this.
Transitional K should be in elementary here.
In kindergarten numbers?
In kindergarten numbers.
So the other preschool numbers outside of transitional K. So when folks will look at different numbers on different websites, right? And they'll say, well, wait a second, this website says you have 28,000 kids. And there's a lot of variances to that because in the head counts in that. So you can see that the Tacoma Public Schools has other students outside of this. But as far as the basic education and or our head count goes, the funding is going to be impacted. So.
Thank you.
King County, I just want to contextualize, is this unique to Tacoma Public Schools? King County is in worse shape from what I've seen in my colleagues. There are spots in Pierce County that are in worse shape. And so the question becomes is, where are all the kids? It's not like I don't know what's happened with the projections in that space. It's not like we've lost kids per se.
And I'll say other districts use different demographers. There are a couple demographers and some use their own projections. They don't even hire a demographer. So we're seeing some kind of systemic shift that needs to be investigated, and we'll talk to our demographer here in the next month. I wanted to just give you a couple of quick oversights on two agenda items. Well, it's really technically 3 agenda items that you will see before you tonight. Make sure that we have a quick conversation for the public who might be watching so that they have an awareness that we've been having conversation around these items. But Proposition 1 will be our Educational Programs and Operations Levy. The resolution is put before you this evening for a vote. Should you vote to approve it, that means that we will put that on a ballot in February of 2026. The Educational Programs and Operations Levy would be a renewal of past levies that we have been having for decades. The collections for each year are listed there, about $127 million in 2027, $132 million in 2028, $137 million in 2029, and $142 million, almost $143 million in 2030. Those are based on a higher number than what we actually anticipate we will be able to collect. We're giving ourselves a little bit of buffer room and putting these amounts on the propositions so that we have some flexibility if the law were to change with the legislature. We are limited to what the law allows currently. And so what you see on the right-hand side are the anticipated tax impacts based on what we expect and based on the current law. And that would be for the Educational Programs and Operations Levy specifically, about $432 a year annually of increase and $36 per month. That levy does fund 498 positions in the current year's budget, represents about 14% of this year's budget. With the increases that we anticipate for next year, we would expect that to increase to about 17% of our budget. It's also important to note that the legislature in this fiscal year allowed for 2026 to have an increase in levy. We weren't able to capitalize on that because we did not want to put our current levy at risk. And so this is now the time frame of renewal where we have the opportunity to try to capture that shift in the legislative language. The second proposition that you see before you tonight, later in the agenda, is on our capital technology levy. Our current capital technology levy funds 92 positions, doing a myriad of activities around technology, refreshing technology within classrooms and buildings, working on improving staff technology, training staff, firewalls, keeping our kids safe with technology, camera systems, phone systems, and things that are all of the electronic nature. That would be a $42.5 million ask for our voters each of the 4 years with the tax rate listed there. And the estimated impact of that would be approximately $137 annually with an $11.45 per month estimate. And it's also important to note, I'll go to this next slide, that's based on an average home value in Tacoma of $517,000 in the current year. We're actually looking at it the last 4 years to the next 4 years. That's we're trying to make it as complicated as possible in the way that we communicate, but we're trying to also make it reasonable for people to understand. So there's 3 components to our tax rate currently: Educational Programs and Operations Levy, that's a current tax; Technology Capital Levy, that's a current tax; and then there's the Bond Repayment Levy, which is a current tax but not being reviewed or renewed tonight. For each individual homeowner, your assessed value of your particular home is what impacts how much you pay in taxes. The tax rate is set based on an amount that we are going to collect, not on a rate per thousand. So we set a dollar amount, whether that be the legal amount or whether that be the voter-approved amount, and then we collect that irrespective of what your individual home is worth. So as assessed values go up or down, the tax rate may change. We've prepared for you estimates on what we believe that will look like based on information that we've seen in the past and trends, but we can't guarantee that that's a particular tax rate that we will see. There are a lot of factors that we don't control, and so we've done our best to try to estimate those impacts for you. And then just to have a quick understanding of what the tax rate has looked like over the past, we hit a high water mark in 2013 at $7.92. We've actively worked to try to bring that number down as we have put future proposals in front of the voters. You'll notice in 2019, there's a small blip to the negative. That's when the legislature adopted the McCleary lawsuit implications, and we ended up having our levy cut in half for 1 year, and then they restored that the following year in 2020. And then you'll notice a blip in 2027. That's because one, we have a higher debt and principal interest payment for our bond repayments in that one particular year, and we would be capitalizing on those increases that we weren't able to capitalize in the 2026 year. So those are those impacts. As far as the timeline is concerned, we'll hopefully have an adoption of those resolutions this evening at your discretion, and then we will begin our informational campaign out to the public as to what this means to them as a homeowner and what this means to the school district, so that people have an awareness, and then we will work on filing and preparing and presenting all of the information that goes along with filing. Anticipated election date is February 10th. Certification of that would be February 20th. And then lastly, the third item that'll be before you this evening is our interfund loan. If you'll recall, the last October and the prior February, we had asked for an interfund loan from our capital fund. This is actually coming out of debt and principal from bonds, not from the capital technology levy. We transfer those resources over to our general fund so that we have the ability to make payrolls while cash flow is fluctuating. Our apportionment varies from month to month. The legislature sets what those apportionment amounts are. We have our expenses coming through at times that don't match up to how the revenue is coming into the system. So we have to have cash on hand with our fund balance as low as it is. That makes things challenging with the way that the legislature has set up apportionment. That makes things challenging. And so we want to be able to be sure that we have resources on hand at all times in order to cover those expenses. And so we are going to be asking to refresh the interfund loan starting November 1st for $42.5 million. Last year it was $38 million. And that's not of any particular significance that we're in a better or worse financial position. It's more based on when we anticipate expenditures ebbing and flowing based on what we've seen historically. Last year's $38 million loan will be repaid next week with interest, $1.8 million. We've already booked that into last year. That's already a factor in the fund balance that I quoted you, the $2 to $3 million fund balance range. And so we would have to pay a little bit of general fund revenues to cover the cost of that $42.5 million loan. But we would also be able to make all of our expenses. So that was what I had to present for you this evening.
Anything additional?
You know, I just want to, reemphasize a few things on the levies themselves. It's unfortunate that we're in a place that we are in Washington state funding where levies play such a critical role in basic education funding. For us, it's about 17% of the day-to-day operations. That's everything from, the state says, well, it's not basic education, but it's everything. We know that the state doesn't cover enough positions to make it work. And we know, as we heard tonight, we're so thin in the amount of supports. So what's basic and what's not? Are the arts basic? Are athletics basic? What's an art and what's not, right? And so it's not worth arguing about those things. That's a legislative conversation. It's essential, is my point. It hits every neighborhood. It's staff and programs. It's approximately, in our current budget, it's about 500 line item staff members in a variety of different places. And it's not one specific category, it's an all there. Because remember, the state doesn't, in the prototypical funding model, doesn't provide enough staff in each of the levels. They're essential in that space. We've been working really hard as a team. What does that mean from a team? That means everyone in this district as a team to produce results. That's every custodian, every bus driver, everyone at the central office, every educator, every community partner. And so this isn't about new. You can see from that blue chart, this is about maintaining in that space. So as you're considering whether or not you want to support this as an agenda item, I just want you to know that those are the essential pieces that we are considering tonight.
Can I make a comment? I think, well, first of all, I just want to thank all the voters in our community because, you have consistently over the years, despite, all the ups and downs that are going on in your own lives, supported our levies and our bonds. And I think you're hearing tonight how important that impact is. And I think with the 500 that you talked about that are in this levy, then there's the 92 in the tech levy. So it's almost 600 positions, which is out of 5,000. That's a lot of people that are supported by the levies. So I hope that the public understands it's not because of mismanagement of funding or anything else. It's because as superintendent has said, we don't get enough money from the state to cover the costs of basic education. And we backfill with our levy, and our community supports that. And, truly we hate to ask again for this, but it is maintenance. So I just want to make sure you all know out there, public that's listening, how grateful we are to you and how we appreciate that you see the value for our children.
Thank you. Any additional? Appreciate it, Ross. Thanks. I'm going to jump into curriculum and instruction. A, approval of interlocal agreement number TSD-25-274 between Pierce County Juvenile Court and Tacoma School District number 10 from August 31st, 2025 through August 31st, 2028.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Chief of Schools, recommends that the Board of Directors approve interlocal agreement number TSD 25-274 between Pierce County Juvenile Court and Tacoma School District number 10 to provide education for juveniles in detention facilities from August 31, 2025 to August 31, 2028.
I move 9A.
I second.
Third.
It's been moved and seconded and third. Any questions, comments, concerns as presented?
No, I would just say Raymond Hall is such a critical part of who we are as Tacoma Public Schools, and we are taking care of not just our students, but students from all over the county who then become our students. So I just want to say this is critical. So thank you for supporting it.
Appreciate it. It's been moved, it's been seconded and third. One comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it passes. Approval of contract number TSD 25-277 between Curriculum Associates, iReady Supports, and Tacoma School District number 10 for the 2025-2026 school year.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Director of Student Programs, recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 25-277 between Curriculum Associates, iReady Supports, and Tacoma School District number 10 to purchase iReady Supports outside of curriculum and instruction services for the 2025-2026 school year. Funding source, Title I LAP and Technology Services.
I move item 9B.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it passes. Approval of acceptance of OSSI Comprehensive School Improvement Grants and School Improvement Plans from the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction for the 2025-2026 school year.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Director of Student Programs, recommends that the Board of Directors approve acceptance of the OSSI Comprehensive School Improvement Grants from the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction in the amount of $460,000 and approve the school improvement plans for the identified schools and authorize expenditure of funds in accordance with accepted guidelines. Funding source, Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction.
I move item 9C.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
I just would offer that this is another area, unfortunately, and I'm not criticizing, I'm just stating it, where the state has had to cut significant funds. And you heard that in the public testimony as well, is that our schools that were in the most need, or that received additional state funds, this dollar amount is divided up among 16 schools. To give you some context, we used to have schools that would receive more than this in a year of additional support, which would be able to pay for additional staff to come in that. And so the trickle-down effect from the federal down to the state is hitting us in all different levels. And so this is an area where, once again, schools and classrooms and school levels that are outside of our influence and control are feeling it pretty significantly.
And just for clarity, divided among 16 schools with only 4 compound tier 3 schools receiving the actual funding.
For those that are listening, Deputy Superintendent, can you talk about what compound tier 3 schools means?
It's, all of the 16 schools are tier 3 schools. Compound means an elevated area of need for academic support.
Thank you. And I would just add, when the governor, after the legislature passed their budget in the spring, and the governor made his team made his additional cuts, all provisional funding was eliminated, that the legislature had tried to keep intact. And so it's not just our district, like the financial implications and impacts are, well, we're still feeling them, and they're not going to end in the near future.
All right, it's been moved, seconded. Any other additional comments? All right, we'll go ahead. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it passes. 9D, approval of the contractual agreement between Hilltop Artists and Residents, Tacoma, and the Tacoma Public Schools from September 2025 through August 2030.
The district's general counsel, on behalf of the district's chief of schools, recommends the board of directors approve the contract agreement between the Hilltop Artists and Residents Tacoma and the Tacoma Public Schools for the 5-year period from September 2025 to August 2030. Funding source, CTE.
I move item 9D.
I second.
9D has been moved, seconded, and thirded. Any questions, comments, concerns about this one?
I would just, like to thank Dr. Keith for her leadership, her work, her team's work, and the opportunities that benefit our students and our communities. My house is filled with Hilltop Artist art and brings me joy all the time. It is an unbelievable program, and we're so fortunate as a community and as a district to have Hilltop Artists and to have Dr. Keith's leadership. So I just want to, and I know I was bragging on them last meeting about their annual luncheon, but seeing what the students actually experience far beyond art is immeasurable.
Thank you. Any additional? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 9D passes. Moving on to agenda item number 10, business matters. Approval to negotiate and award design-build alternative method contract with Selland Construction for the Regional Robotics Center project.
The Chief Operating Officer recommends that the Board of Directors approve to negotiate and award a contract to Selland Construction for the design-build alternative method for the Regional Robotics Center project.
You have a motion?
Oh, I move item 10A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns about the Robotics Center? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Agenda item number 11, other business. 11A, first reading of the 2026 legislative agenda.
Just want to give you a little bit of context, and I know we're not discussing tonight, but it gives you some chance before our November adoption in that space. So I believe in the early 2000s, 10 range, I guess, decade, we started doing legislative agendas, 12, 13 area in that space. And what we decided to do is we focused in on critical issues that were important to TPS. And the evolution was as we started to build collaborations with other school districts there were common agenda items that we would focus in on issues of high concern in that space. And so if you click in and if you're at home and you're clicking into the PDF, it gives much more of a deep explanation to each one of these in this space. So they're not just bullets. So sometimes the issues of high concern are more of a regional approach that we are also supporting in that space. It doesn't mean in that that we are the lone voice in that, but it's important that it may be important to all South Sound school districts. It may not have the same impact here in TPS in that space. But for us, the three major ones are, and you've heard us talk about this in the space of material supplies and operating costs. And we're asking the state to invest heavily in that space, and you'll see the dollar amount that we're asking. We're asking them to invest in the South Sound Robotics Center from a capital budget in that space. And then as Director Keating pointed out, in the when the state cut all the provisional funding, one of the unintentional consequences is McKinney-Vento transportation safety net funding, or transportation funding. And we're asking them to create a safety net funding where districts can be reimbursed at a bare minimum. If you're not going to bring back all the provisional funding in that space, we're asking at least establish a safety net where districts that have high impacts from McKinney-Vento transportation can apply to be reimbursed based on actual cost. And so we're not going to go through all of that, but I just wanted to give you a framework of how we go about. Director Keating, Ms. Jumper, Ms. Medina, myself, Charlie and his team from Cascade Governmental Affairs works to develop the agenda based on conversations that we have with legislators all through the summer. What are the issues that we were able to address in the previous year? What are still important to us in that space? I also work with all the South Sound school districts. What are their common issues? So that we oftentimes hear from legislators, we need to hear a common voice. What are your biggest priorities? What are the most important things? And then we look for also opportunities, right? And so sometimes, like this, there may not be a lot in the basic operating, but we know that there's something in the capital budget. And so we're gonna go after that capital budget ask as well.
And I would just add that the legislative priority or the agenda also is reflected on what did or didn't happen in the previous legislative session. And so there were some successes around special education last session, but then with the cuts that the budget, the governor's office ended up making, that there were other financial implications. So there's a lot of pieces. So I know that often people can think that the legislative session only happens, like the work around legislation and legislative advocacy only happens during legislative session. It is year round. And then through my position as a legislative representative working with the Washington State School Directors Association, I work really closely with school directors and WASA staff to help advocate and have an assessment of not only what is impacting Tacoma Public Schools, but our region and also around the state. And I know it's been said over and over and over again, it's not always heard, but it's said that we are not unique in what we're experiencing in any way. But with this legislative agenda, it really helps guide our ability as a district and representing the board to work with the legislature in the interim and also during legislative session.
So obviously, like all of our first readings, if you have any additional feedback, or if the community would like to provide any feedback, they can do so online in that space. But you as individual board members, I would encourage you to reach out to Director Keating or myself if there are other topics that you'd like us to consider in modifying the legislative agenda, and we will bring this back in November for adoption, proposed adoption.
See, this is a first reading, no action needed. We'll jump into adoption of resolution number 2168, authorizing the ballot proposition number 1, replacement of expiring levy for K-12 educational programs and operations.
The Chief Financial Officer recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2168, authorizing ballot proposition number 1, Educational Programs Operations Replacement Levy.
I move item, what is this?
11B.
11B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. General Counsel, will you do a roll call vote for this?
Yes, President Strozier, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bombright, how do you vote?
Aye.
Resolution 2168 passes 4-0.
All right, we'll move on to C, adoption of resolution 2169, authorizing the ballot proposition number 2, replacement of expiring levy for the K-12 technology improvement and upgrades.
The Chief Financial Officer recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2169, authorizing ballot proposition number 2, Technology Improvements and Upgrades Replacement Levy.
I move 11C.
Aye, second,
It's been moved and seconded.
and doubly second.
We'll do another roll call.
President Strozier, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bombright, how do you vote?
Aye.
Resolution 2169 passes 4-0.
All right, one more, adoption of resolution 2171, the interfund loan.
The Chief Financial Officer recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2171 and approve the temporary transfer of $42 million from the Capital Projects Fund to the General Fund.
I move 11D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
President Strozier, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bombright, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, resolution number 2171 passes 4-0.
All right, appreciate it. We'll jump into agenda item number 12, which are our closing items, starting with board comments and reports.
President Strozier, one of our student reps would like to add some comments from an earlier agenda item.
Easy.
Huge shout out Hilltop artists. I grew up on Hilltop, and there's a lot of like stereotypes and generalizations around kids from Hilltop. And being a part of that community, like I felt it, but a lot of kids just need an outlet, and art was always big for me and my siblings, and it's still something I carry with me. So it's just like shout out for that. That was like a personal connection for me. It was nice hearing you talk, and I like your outfit.
Thank you.
I can start. First of all, the day after our last business meeting, we had a JMAC meeting, and the focus of this meeting was really actually quite fascinating. It was about programs that support folks that are struggling with home insecurity and what we're doing in Pierce County, Tacoma area. And we had 2 presentations. One was Unified Regional Approach, which is really, I'm so proud of what we're doing in Pierce County and Tacoma together, and some of the other cities in Pierce County working together. And Lisa Burnell from Uncommon Bridges presented, and we've made a lot of progress. I mean, it was really actually exciting to hear all the partnerships with nonprofits and with government and everyone focusing together on the singular focus problems that these folks are having that are, exacerbating the homelessness issue. And I think I just felt for the first time in a long time some positive sense of progress in this area. So I just wanted to thank Lisa and all the other folks that are working on this. The second presentation was from the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, and the director, Chantel Harmon-Reed, and staffer Melanie Lopez presented on the street medicine program, where the teams of medical professionals go out and meet with folks on the streets, talk about medications, assess them, give, vaccinations, those kinds of things, and really give them hope that they can actually get past whatever is ailing them. And it is and also another amazing program. So just want to shout out to the good work that's been happening in our community to support the homeless population. And because, as we know, a piece of that is our students, who I think, what is it now, 1,700 plus youth that are TPS students are homeless or home insecure, couch surfing, whatever. So I am just glad that our whole community, one city, is wrapping around the homeless population and these kids. The second big thing that I'll talk about was again, the Tacoma Education Dream Fund Gala, which was, as the superintendent mentioned, spectacular. And I also want to thank Sue Elkin, Jessica, and Monica for putting together such an amazing event. There were, over 250 people there, and it was uplifting. We have the 5 pillars, and then for the foundation, Director Keating and I both sit on the Tacoma Education Foundation Board of Directors. So it was exciting to see our 5 pillars featured, and then in each one there was a video showing some things that are happening in investments already in those pillars. And then they also had in-person presentations by a staff person and a student, and it was just magical. It was spectacular. And I'm actually going to, and before I turn it over, I'm going to say, and Amanda Scott Thomas was over the top. She was amazing. I love Amanda, and when she gets a mic in her hand, the room was rocking. So thanks to Amanda for that. I also, I'm now going to turn it over to our student rep, Josh, who was one of those where I said, you did the video, and then there was a student and a staffer that was represented, and Josh was one of the staffers who came up and spoke from the heart about his experience. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
So it was kind of last minute for me. Sue and then my boss, Shannon. It was Liz who emailed Shannon, and then Shannon was like, hey, you want to come do this for us, pretty please? And it was really last minute, which I'm fine with, It's not like I have anything better to do. And so I got the rundown of what I needed to talk about, how the event was going to go, where it was going to be at. And I actually got to work with the chief of schools, Adam, how do you pronounce his last name? Kulas. He was the staff member I worked with, and that was pretty fun. I represented Jobs 253 and how work experience is good, and what it was like to be an instructor and a volunteer, because I enjoyed it enough to go back and do unpaid work. Ooh. And they had me share a short story about my time at Jobs 253, which I got some pretty good laughs that made me feel pretty good. I was really nervous to go up there, which, speaking in front of a large crowd of people is nerve-wracking for a lot of people. And I also want to thank the Asian Pacific Cultural Club for having us and hosting us there.
Thanks, Josh. And you rocked it, by the way.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go next. I want to talk about our study session that we just had on last week. I want to thank the principals from Edna Travis, Baker Middle School, and Mount Tahoma for taking the time to meet with all of us. We want to acknowledge that the work of this district is done on a school-by-school basis, ensuring that the community needs of their school community are met. I think it was really awesome to hear from every level. We had elementary representation, middle school, and then high school, and hearing about the work that they're doing. Privately, we have been talking about student phone use on campuses for a little over 2 years, and the principals have been leading their school communities more publicly as of the fall of 2024. At every school level, our school communities are addressing phone usage on campus through parent partnerships and communication, like one of our reps was talking about earlier. Sometimes it's going, okay, it's happening. And I want to acknowledge that it's been happening, and it's in the hands of those leaders on the ground who are doing that work every day. And I really appreciate them taking their time during conference week to come meet with us. Thank you, Josh, for calling them in during conference week. They were ready to get out of there as soon as they were done. They were like, okay, I got to get back to school. So that was awesome. But also what's going on in community, and I know Lisa, Director Keating will talk on this more, but what's going on in community for myself and the work that I'm doing in community, I work with lots of littles, lots of young families. SNAP benefits are being affected by the federal government shutdown. This is not a partisan issue, it's a human issue, and one that impacts the most vulnerable individuals in our community, the children, the elderly, and those of varying support needs. I know that our faith leaders and community leaders are doing all they can. Our food pantries, they have had lines for months. Those lines will get longer. Our school communities are doing what they can do. They've always sent home bags of foods for kids and families in needs, and we're doing all that we can do. But schools are only one stop in that chain of support for community. And so I would use my privilege to ask others to join in on that chain of community support and mutual aid and do all that you can do to support someone near you, get to know your neighbors, talk to people, ask them what they need. My program serves over 59 children this year. The 59 children I serve, 37 of them receive SNAP benefits. We are trying to figure out what we can do to support them, and I'm one person with 2 jobs trying to support 59 people. So when I'm doing that, I'm reaching out to my community and saying, what can you do to help? And I'm one person. I have no idea how the principals are feeling, how the teachers are feeling. They have multiple students in their classroom every day. They're hearing about this issue. Parents are concerned. SNAP benefits are set to end at the end of this month. People do not know if they're getting renewed in November. I think it's pertinent that as we serve children and families, it's important that we raise and elevate some of these issues from the dais. Thank you.
Well, the SNAP benefits, I guess I'll start with that. Yeah, they are set to expire on November 1st. And there does not seem to be any movement within Congress to actually address funding the federal government. Lives are going to be significantly impacted. Some conversations I've been having with other leaders throughout the state and different agencies is a lot of folks kind of forget that we feed children. They didn't even consider that schools provide meals as they're trying to address, like how to address the cuts to SNAP and WIC. So trying to help elevate and remind people that public schools are an essential piece and safety net for access to food. And I've helped to remind some folks that we got really, really creative during the shutdown and helped provide like weeks of food. There were a lot, I mean, I realize the circumstances were very different then, but we did figure out ways to get food to families. And so I feel like this is another moment where we're going to need to really rely on one another. And Vice President McElroy talking about our community partners. Many of our schools have their own community organizations or groups that support them and bring in food so that students have food on the weekends and really try to provide food with dignity to those students. And so I think I've been in conversation with WASDA staff around from the Federal Relations Network standpoint on what information can school districts and school directors provide community. There's still a lot of uncertainty. Every day brings uncertainty with this federal shutdown and the financial implications. So, but I think it's really important that we not sugarcoat the impact that is coming. And I would also, say that from the fiscal side of things for the state, between Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, and WIC cuts from the federal government, that's around $7 billion to the state in losses. So it's all really, really heavy. And deeply concerning about the level of impact that our community is going to have and communities across our state and across the country. So I did want to also going back, I forgot to say around the legislative agenda, we've been meeting with our legislators from the 27th Legislative District, and they've been very engaging, and we've been working on trying to find solutions in this fiscal landscape, ways that understanding the shortfalls that the state are facing, that we're facing, but really, we met with Speaker Jenkins last week, and our legislators are really trying to be creative and really trying to partner, knowing that they have an equally difficult task coming January when the next legislative session starts. The other thing I wanted to say, I happen to, for my professional day job, I just attended the 36th Annual Centennial Accord, which is an annual meeting of the tribal leaders, the 29 federally recognized tribes across Washington State, and the governor and the governor's office. And this is the second time I've attended the Centennial Accord, and this year there was a presentation from tribal leaders on education, early learning, K-12 and higher ed, and career and technical pathways and colleges. And our tribal partners are facing some of the very same issues that we're facing. And I think it's also, it can't be emphasized enough that tribes are sovereign nations. So when they talk about government to government, we're working with another government entity, so our partnership, for example, with the Puyallup tribe, they are their own governmental entity or government, their own sovereign nation. And so those relationships are critical, and the ways that we approach and work with them and consult with them is really, really important. They talked about the unfunded mandate around the since time immemorial curriculum and how that is putting a lot of strain on tribal resources to provide educators, Native and Indigenous educators, with language revitalization programs and partnering with public schools in their areas, in their tribal areas. So they're facing a lot of similar things. And as I listened to that, the dialogue and the conversation, it really made me just reminded me of my gratitude to our Director of Indian Education, David Seith, and his team, Robin and Liz, for the work that they do in our district, and also the ways that they help maintain our relationships and continue to help advance our relationships with our tribal partners. So I just want to just extend some gratitude to David and Robin and Liz, because they do remarkable work that is critical to our partnerships with our tribal partners. And then the last thing I just want to say is I want to acknowledge Director Bombright. For years, she has been standing at the front of leadership with JMAC. And she's invested an unbelievable amount of energy and time and commitment and dedication. And so as you were talking about like the last JMAC meeting, it just like, I had sort of this flash of like all the years that you've put in. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So, and that's what I have.
All right, well, I'll put a bow on this thing then. You should have went last if you was gonna do all that thinking and stuff. But I will.
You're welcome, President.
I appreciate you. A couple things for me this week. Yesterday, I had the chance to go to the conceptual design open house for Whittier over at the Fircrest Community Center. And yeah, for sure. It was a packed house. And there were a lot of folks there to check in on the process and ask questions about, how things were going to move forward, how neighborhoods were going to be impacted with construction, if kids were going to be, breathing in harmful particles while we are deconstructing the old building after they move into the new building. And I think that the folks on the design and the planning team did a great job answering questions. Like, there weren't a lot of people I don't think that there was anyone that walked out of that room last night with an unanswered question. So it was a real quick structured presentation, and then after that it was open house style, so folks could walk around, look at the diagrams, ask questions. There was a lot of concern about the traffic circle, and then a lot of minds were put at ease how the buses will move through without impacting neighborhood traffic, how students will now have the opportunity to get in and out of their vehicles on the passenger side based on how we're going to have things laid out. So it was just it was great to see community engaged in that way. Like, I'm here to ask a question, and I left with my question answered. Like, that's important. So that was a good time last night. Well, the days are running together, but Monday we had a community conversation at Baker's, the first time we did one of these. We initially called it a town hall, but moved away from that, more in a community conversation, and that's exactly what it was. We asked some very specific questions. The top 3 hopes for the school year: what's going well, what needs urgent attention. We had some poster boards set up. One thing I want the board to understand, and one thing that makes me proud of Tacoma schools. And it was an engaging conversation that night, but what I feel most proud was both of those boards were filled with sticky notes. One thing what do I want the board to understand? Oh, we understand some stuff. And what makes me proud was also full, right? So we recognized through conversation that there are some gaps that we gotta fill. We've never took the stand on, we have arrived on where we're trying to go. We've never taken that stand. But having those conversations in community identifies the gap, and it gives us an opportunity to close it. I mean, and that's what working together looks like. So we're looking forward to continue engaging in communities. We'll be in the Stewart neighborhood next time, and we are, again, looking forward to families to come in and join in. We got some snacks and things of that nature, so, yeah.
I'm going to highlight again that we want to hear from families and children specific from those targeted neighborhoods. I think that having your voice heard is really important, but I also think the intentionality behind the work that we're trying to do. And so I love that you told them where we're going. I'm playing. We talk about where we're going because it's important, and we did send out a notice because there'd be 3 of us there. But I just really want to highlight the intentionality that went in behind hearing from families and students directly. There were also some family members who are also staff members at the school. So it's like we're not excluding anyone from those school communities, but they've got to be from those targeted school communities. That way we really hear that community need, and that way we can figure out ways to better serve them and also take our notes back to our colleagues and say, this is what's happening in this 8-block radius. It's really difficult to be one city when you're looking at the city as a whole, but it's really easy when you get nuclear and get really down with people. So. I just also want to highlight that. Thank you, President Strozier. Thank you, Director Blondbright, for showing up and helping as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I thought some of the most insightful comments came from the students that were there. So that was really helpful too. They were quiet, the parents were doing a lot of the talking. And then in the end, when we were doing the sticky notes, there was lots of writing, and as we read them out loud, I kind of remembered who handed me which sticky note, and I was like, wow, some of these kids have really listened and gave it some thought and told us what they needed, and it was powerful. So thank you very much to the leadership of the board for generating these. Appreciate you guys.
All right, that was our report. So next up, we'll go to announcement of next regular board meetings, November 13th. We're here for a business meeting. December 11th, this is crazy. We're here for a business meeting. January 8th, we're here again for a business meeting. I know y'all remember when the elevator was broke here and we left and we went to the PDC for a little while. Well, that's gonna happen again. Okay, so starting in January of 2026, all of our board meetings will be taking place at the PDC, the Professional Development Center Auditorium in Building C, 6501 North 23rd Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98406. We're saying that now. I will say it 1, 2, 3 additional times at our other meetings so folks know when and where we'll be there.
But not because the elevator is broken again.
And this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Whatever you think of the elevator, you just